Welcome to Periodic Insight. This is the atomic structure and the periodic table course, and today we are learning about the atomic structure. To start off with, there are four main definitions which need to be learned to understand the fundamentals of chemistry: the atom, an element, a molecule, and a compound. So let's start with the atom. Atoms are made up of three components: neutrons, protons, and electrons. To start with, there are neutrons, which hold a neutral charge, so their energy is 0. They are represented by the green spheres. The weight of a neutron is 1. Second of all, there are protons, which hold a positive charge, so their energy is +1, represented by the red spheres. The weight of a proton is also 1. The neutrons and protons make up the nucleus, which is found within the epicenter of the atom. Finally, you have electrons, which are found in shells surrounding the nucleus. They hold a negative charge, represented by the blue spheres, but the weight of an electron is only 1 over 1840. There are different layers of electron shells. The first shell containing 2 electrons, the second shell containing 8, and the third also containing 8. Depending on how many electrons are in the atom, it will vary on how many shells it has. All atoms want a full outer electron shell, also known as a valence shell. Via this process, this is how you get chemical bonding. Something to note before we move on. When we talk about the weight of the constituents within an atom, we are talking about the atomic mass unit. The atomic mass unit is the universal measurement for the weight of protons, neutrons, and electrons. This is derived from the carbon-12 atom. The second definition which would need to be learned is an element, which is a substance comprised of one specific atom. You can find elements on the periodic table, and we'll explore that in the next episode. To understand elements, let's use oxygen as an example. It has an atomic number of 8 and an atomic weight of 16. So what does that mean? Well, if you look at the atomic number, you can tell the number of electrons and protons. 8 electrons, and there is also 8 protons. They have to be equal as the electrons are negative and the protons are positive. They have to cancel each other out. To find out the number of neutrons from the periodic table, you do the following equation, which is the atomic weight minus the atomic number. This gives you the total number of neutrons. Which now moves us on to our next definition, which is a molecule, which is where 2 or more atoms are chemically joined together. We will carry on with our example of oxygen, which has its first shell filled with 2 electrons and 6 electrons in the second shell, so it has 8 electrons overall. Every element wants to have a full outer shell of electrons, so they will become stable. Oxygen wants to have 2 in its first shell and 8 in the second shell, so it needs to gain another 2 electrons, which are gained via another oxygen atom, which will be covalently bonded to the other oxygen atom. Covalent bonding is just the sharing of electrons. This will be talked about within a later video. Both oxygen atoms now share 2 electrons, making oxygen now diatomic, which means consisting of 2 atoms. This will be represented as O2. The same happens for iodine, bromine, chlorine, fluorine, nitrogen, and hydrogen. This now brings us on to our final definition of the video, which is a compound, which is a substance that has more than one element in. An example of this is glucose, which has the molecular formula of C6H12O6. Remember that all compounds are molecules, but not all molecules are compounds. This has been Periodic Insight. Thank you for watching. There are links in the description if you'd like to follow and support us, and we'll see you in the next video.